There's a shot after the scene of the singles night at the bar. It ends on this spider in front of a light, like weaving a web. And I thought that was just such an amazing image to express where we are between Joe and Tom Schwartz. Just this idea of like this web being like both fragile and complex and like wondering about this. Yeah, the spider being potentially like deadly and poisonous.
I really like that too, because to me it makes me start thinking like, okay, like who's caught in whose web. Like the drama that we just witnessed is like between Schwartz and Joe, and you know we understand that they're both in a bit of a bind because you know Joe loves this guy, God help her, and Schwartz is just like I want to go flirt with other people right now. I'm at singles night. I've got the green bracelet on. Yeah. But you know, it invites you to think about like who's trapped by who. Is Schwartz trapped by Joe's love in this situation, or is Joe trapped by Schwartz putting her in this like one of the guys box, and like where she's always kind of invited to stay close to him, but is never really welcomed into being an official relationship. Because I think that's a kind of dynamic I think that probably most people can recognize like from their own lives and stuff. And I think it's interesting to see it play out this way. And like you could say like Joe, she should have known what she was getting into going on the show. And you could also say she should have known what she was getting into this pseudo relationship with Tom Schwartz, which has been going on for who knows how long. And she probably did, though, is the thing. Like it's like you know, she does love this guy, and it's also like such an obvious, maybe not obvious, but it's a bit of like a red flag that his nickname for her is Joseph, which by the way, they both have terrible nicknames for each other, very entry level nicknames. But by him using that nickname that like masculinizes her, it's such like one of the guys label. And it's like, it's that classic thing where like when a woman decides that she's going to be one of the guys in order to like be close to the person that she likes, it's like that double-edged sword dynamic where then you get more access to him, but then you eventually realize at a certain point that the trade-off for that is that he's decided he doesn't owe you anything emotionally because you're one of the guys, because you're a dude. I don't need to give you that emotional respect. And that's what we really see from Schwartz at the end, is him kind of saying without quite saying it, because he can't say anything except for Joseph over and over, is that that like I didn't think that I needed to give you any kind of emotional respect because of the position you put yourself in our relationship.
Yeah, I'm undecided where I stand on Schwartz in this dynamic, because obviously she loves him so much and he can see that she loves him so much. And in that context, you know, probably ungentlemanly to sleep with her so many times and string her along like that. But, you know, he is also, I think from what we see, pretty open about actually what his intentions are. He keeps saying over and over again in episode after episode that he doesn't want a relationship. He wants to like flirt. He wants to sleep around. So I don't know, like it's to some extent, I think, you know, she has to take responsibility for the fact that it's not actually mixed signals, you know? Yeah. He's pretty blunt about his intentions.
Totally. And the fact that she's going with him on a singles night that she basically invited herself to is kind of like, okay, you can't blame him for what happened. But also I think because she does love the guy, you know, we often talk about like, oh, you know, you're in love, you're blind or whatever. But often I think being in love, it gives you a lot of clarity, but you just, you know, what are you going to do? Not pursue the person you love? Like, of course you're going to. Like, she probably sees this end goal of her getting emotionally shredded. She's probably seen it all along. She knows she knows that that's where it's going to end up, but she's going to do it anyways because she loves the guy, right? That's how it works, right?
And that's where his responsibility comes in to have ended it long before.
Yeah, and his responsibility just to show a little bit more emotional consideration when they eventually reach the point where she's confronting him about it. Because I've been feeling a little sympathetic towards Schwartz most of the season. I thought his like whole like awkward lunk act and just being kind of a dorky guy struggling to make anything happen has been like somewhat charming. I don't think he's as irresistibly charming as Sandoval thinks he is, which is cute that he thinks that of his buddy. But But seeing him deal with Joe near the edge made me kind of remember how much this guy sucks. Because it was just like him just like sitting there while she's like, asking for some kind of acknowledgement and just doing nothing but saying, Joseph. Oh, Joseph.
Well, yeah.
It gave me flashbacks to how often he did that with Katie, just going, Bubba. Oh,
yeah.
Bubba, just unable to think of anything else to do.
Yeah, one of his negative qualities is his desire to be all things to all people, to be liked by everyone. There are times when like he was admirably chill when Katie slept with Max. I think that is to his credit. He wants to rise above drama, but on the other hand, like in so many of his interactions with Katie when they were married, it's like he wanted to always have it both ways. He wanted to be the most likable guy, while also siding with everyone who wasn't Katie. So it's like his biggest flaw is like not like actually owning what he wants and taking responsibility for what he wants a lot of the time.
Yeah, and just being in a confrontational situation and not being able to do anything but like just sit there, like not even put an arm around her, not try to like ask her questions, not try to like explain his perspective. I get that's really fucking hard to do in a situation like that, but you kind of got to try a little bit more than he's trying in that situation, I think.
Totally. One other thing that I wanted to point out, I think like I've realized over the course of this season just how important on these shows body language is in terms of how we read these scenes and these stories, because as soon as Joe was introduced, she has like a body language that we have never seen before on this show. And it's like we've talked about it being this kind of like cringy millennial type like improv energy, and I'm glad that we got some payoff to this at the end of her story, and we see this like one last like roar that she gives to Tom as he's trying to like explain himself, and it like becomes clear this is like a defense mechanism. This is a way that she can like shield her like inner feelings from all the exterior elements that she interacts with, especially like Tom Schwartz. This is like a way that they are able to like speak without speaking with each other. They just have this like this surface level banter, like meme back and forth at each other instead of like addressing the actual feelings that they have. And to see the kind of like dying gasp of this dynamic be this like roar before she's like, actually, no, shut the fuck up. I'm telling you how I'm feeling. I thought was just such a lovely payoff to this.
Yeah. I agree. She's secretly like the most normal person on the show right now, because obviously everybody else is very good at being on the show. They're good at being on camera, which she isn't for the most part.
Yeah.
Like, it's bad enough that she's in this awkward situationship that makes her act weird, but then also to have a camera in front of it and have all these people who hate her contributes to her like weird affect a lot of the times. And to all of that, like it's come into focus for me over the episodes that all of that is normal. And I'm increasingly sympathetic to her.
Totally.
Yeah. I've made this point before on the show, I think, but like the people who are good on camera read as normal on camera, but the people who are good on camera are not the normal ones. Those are like exceptional, strange people. Like most human beings just cannot act in a way that reads as normal on camera. That's just not usually the case for most people.
Yeah.
Bit of a digression, but I'm sure you read the New York Times Magazine article about Sandoval a few weeks ago, right?
I read that.
The bit in that really haunted me was when the writer was talking about how like if a plane goes by or there's some loud noise outside, he'll like stop in mid conversation, even if there's no camera, and he'll wait for it to pass. Like the way that being on this show just like rewires his brain. Oh my God, chilling.
Yeah, that haunted me too. And that really makes me realize how you're talking about like the no exit thing, like how I don't think these people could conceive of living without the show anymore. Like I think it's become so much a part of how they process reality and how they understand how they're seen by other people that I don't think they would be able to disconnect themselves from it voluntarily. I don't think they would know how to do that anymore.